Hey guys, Daggz here, getting ready to do Chapter 6 of the Call of Cthulhu, where we return to the Hawkins Mansion. Noticed in the last two videos that there was an echo. Pretty sure I've got it figured out. It shouldn't echo anymore, though I think that the echo added emphasis in the last two chapters where it was kind of needed. Made it sound really cool. Anyway, let's get at her. Chapter 6, Hawkins Mansion. Or rather, the return to the Hawkins Mansion. Pierce woke up in an asylum, installed in the cellars of the Riverside Institute. He met Dr. Colden, a female friend of Bradley, who helped him to escape. Wandering through the corridors of this place, where Dr. Fuller reigns supreme, Pierce was able to talk to a man called Francis Sanders. Before dying in full view of the detective, he accused Sarah Hawkins of being the cause of his torments. Pierce finally left the accursed building, accompanied by Bradley and Colden. The companions in misfortune decided to use the Hawkins Mansion as a hideout. Ready, set, let's go! You're creepy! So creepy. Cool design in your eyes, but they're still creepy.
Who goes there? That nightmare again. I need a drink.
Wonder what you guys are talking about. Let's go see. Anything I could see over here? Creepy statue. Anything I can look at over here? No, I'll probably look at this later then. Ooh, I can refill my lantern. Wait, that's over here. Oh, the door's no?
No. I want to know what Bradley and Dr. Colden have to say about all this.
Alright, I'll go talk to them and then refill my lantern. Yep. No refill oil cans up here. So let's go.
You're awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
Did I sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
I want to talk to Bradley. You saw.
What I'm sure of now is that the Hawkins case isn't just an accident.
And what brings you to that conclusion?
The fact that Charles Hawkins survived the fire.
I don't understand. Mr. Hawkins was buried.
That's what he would have you believe.
I have a hard time believing you.
You were there, Bradley. You even opened fire on him.
I'd remember that.
Why would he fake his own death? Do you think he covered up his wife's murder?
That's
Probably.
possible.
Seems hard to swallow. Don't you have anything more concrete, Pierce?
Bradley, what do you remember?
I don't understand your question.
The night we went into the Hawkins mansion. You don't seem to remember the tunnels and what occurred there.
No memory of going down any tunnel. No, we were in the manor, then,
Then what?
the rest is quite blurry. I don't recall how I came back home.
And then?
I went to visit you at the hospital, and called on Marie's help to get you released.
And you don't remember the events of the tunnel?
I don't. Let's talk about something else.
I heard you talking earlier.
Why am I not surprised?
I get the impression you two don't get along.
Intrusive and not very clever. Anyway, let's get back to the business at hand.
Wonder what that gave me. Alright. Let's talk to Marie. Let's do that.
Given the energy he pours into Riverside, I presume it was Fuller's creation.
His father's, to be correct. He was a surgeon on board the Scylla. He founded the hospital in 1904 with funds from the Hawkins family before he died and his son Thomas Fuller took over.
Two families inextricably linked.
Most island families are that way. Captain Fitzroy's father was also a seaman aboard the Scylla.
Powerful families dominating everything.
Yes, and as you could tell, Dr. Fuller is like some crazed emperor.
He wouldn't be happy if he knew we were snooping around.
I know the risks. I don't fear him. Do you wish to know anything else?
Yeah, why do you deny dead bodies? Or rather, I haven't asked you this yet. This is actually the first time that I've spoken to either of them. I tend to always miss the option to talk to him, so I'm doing it now.
Dr. Fuller seems to be leaving a trail of corpses. Not to mention those strange machines, chains, and tools of all kind.
Yes. I've been telling you that Fuller uses his patients as guinea pigs.
Mad scientist.
What I saw was more akin to torture than medicine.
Do you even hear what you're saying? Dr. Fuller is highly respected.
Doesn't mean
It's
he's
the
not highly
truth,
correct.
Ethan. And I'll prove it to you. I'm listening, Mr. Pierce.
Let's try this one.
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins, and that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
Called him the Shambler.
I didn't see what, but something was there with us.
Of what do you speak?
Creepy.
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
No can do. I want the trophy.
He's right. We can't ignore the truth.
But it could drive her mad.
Better madness than ignorance. Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
Okay, first things first. Gotta refill my lantern. And I fully intend to drive the widow mad because I want the trophy. No, don't drink that. I don't know if I have that trophy or not. But there's a trophy if you can push Mrs. Sanders to the edge. And we're going to this next section of Chapter 6. Oh, I don't like this section. But it's gotta be done. So, Chapter 6.2. Sanders residence. Pierce, Colden, and Bradley have decided to team up to solve the Sarah Hawkins case. They have a new trail to follow. Francis Sanders, an art collector and friend of the painter, who died right in front of Pierce, the detective goes to his house in order to speak to his widow about the Shambler that the unfortunate man mentioned before he died. Let's go.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may.
Thank you.
However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
Yes, I know.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well, well, look who's here.
Still don't
You
like
know
her.
each other.
Our paths crossed, briefly. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me.
Yes, I do.
May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday before he died.
I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
I guess you're taking it quite well. Or he died screaming. Let's do... You're taking it
I expected to find you more grief-stricken than this by the death of your husband.
I do not like the tone of your allusion, sir. I had long months to weep every tear in my body, and to accept, if not my fate, at least that of my husband. And so I'm sorry to disappoint you if you're expecting more hysteria and grieving widow in my voice. Rest assured, however, my anger is real. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
wasn't me who sent... I don't think that's high enough, so it wasn't me who sent him there.
With all due respect, Mrs. Sanders, it was you who sent him to this asylum, not me.
How dare you? What was I supposed to do, Detective? Upon seeing such a brilliant mind disintegrate in this way, waking with a start every night with him shrieking in horror, petrified before this accursed painting, unable to look away, until he managed to gouge his eyes out with his own hands.
Ooh.
I should have listened to Dr. Fuller, let him intern him months ago. If I am to be condemned, it is because I did not act sooner.
I'm not here to condemn you, Mrs. Sanders.
Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A Shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else? to paint such horrors. Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you are so eager to see it...
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long.
I missed the opportunity. Oh well. New objective.
Did she really care for him after all?
Dear Madam, I acknowledge receipt of the letter in which you demand the body of your deceased husband. I am sorry to inform you that I cannot agree to return his body to you. At the moment of his internment, you signed a discharge, allowing me to dispose of his body as I see fit. I extend my deepest condolences to you, Thomas Fuller.
The day the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
Creepy people. Oh, there's the reconstruction.
Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even? A house of artists.
Can I click on you again?
A house of artists.
Yeah, you just say the same thing.
Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler. Finally. What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting?
That would be the painting itself.
He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom? She first refused to sell the painting. How did that make her feel? Was she jealous of Sarah Hawkins?
Possibly. Oh no, I looked at the painting.
The Shambler. I need to see it.
I hate the Shambler. I truly do. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Breviary of Medicine, Tome 2. The second volume in this series covers everything from gas gangrene to trench nephritis. In addition to a precise and detailed study, the book presents to some avant-garde theories. The incredible complexity of this book reserves it for medical experts. Avant-garde. I mispronounced it. I'm sorry. Ooh, phonograph.
Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
An audio recording that Francis Sanders left for his wife, Irene. Doesn't say his name on it. But let's play it anyway.
Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids each time I shut my eyes. I can't take any more. I can't hold him back. Forgive me.
Francis, I should never let them take you away. What have I done? Everything is my fault.
Can I talk to you again? No. No, I cannot. That's not the study. Anything over here I can look at? feel like I'm missing something. Some very nice paintings. Didn't that one look like it had blood on it a couple minutes ago? It might have. Ugh, not her. Fine, we'll talk to her.
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
Let's see. Nah, let's go, yeah. Let's test the eloquence.
I have a well-off client in Boston who heard about the death of Francis Sanders and wanted me to size up his estate before making an offer to his widow.
Nice story. Bad lie. Learn how to dupe, Detective. But as long as you keep out of my way, you're free to carry on with your visit.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
And you? What brings you to the Sanders home?
I'm here on business. Irene asked me to liquidate all these paintings. She doesn't intend to hang around here for long.
Why you?
Believe it or not, there aren't many collectors on Darkwater. It needs someone with a network and a means of transport to the mainland. A choice that comes down to Fitzroy and me. And I'm far more pleasant, wouldn't you say?
Not. Read the book. Will you read the book? Yes, I will read the book. It's a kind of encyclopedia of monsters and unknown creatures. I'm beginning to believe that they exist. Malleus Bestiarum, Volume 2. Oh, that's never a friendly sound. Dissertation on an anatomical question. It is the work of a student in book form. Although the observations are relevant, they lack the expertise of an experienced physician. However, the questions asked allow us to imagine new ways of exploring human anatomy. Sounds like it could be fun. In at least some situations. Anything else over here? Nope.
A strange Amerindian pendant.
Pretty.
I could use one of those.
Not right now. We're busy. I probably should have looked at this before talking to her. The Whale and the Cod. Whale and the Cod, A Brief History of Darkwater by Erwin Greenmouth. It is focused on the past glory of the island. Interesting.
Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing.
Dear Francis, I beg you to give up all hope of ever owning this accursed painting. If our friendship has any meaning for you, please spare me the weight of guilt. I cannot be the architect of your fall. I beg you, my dear friend, forget the Shambler. Your friend, Sarah Hawkins. You move. I want to read that.
Not now, sweetheart. I'd like to read this without some snoop looking over my shoulder.
Yeah, bite me.
Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
Volume 3. This volume spends some time on Reverend Wickwood's community. His wife expresses her worries about the strange dreams that the Reverend's congregations are having since their arrival on the island. Some members of the community, her husband included, began to speak of their vision as a messenger sent by God. She is scared that they will suffer the same fate as the lost tribe. Intriguing. Oh, box. Yay, key. I don't want to go in there because that's where the Shambler is, even though I know I have to do it. I literally hate the Shambler. I hate it. I hate this section. Oh, don't look at the painting just yet. Let's look at all the lovely things
These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times.
in the art gallery. Very lovely. That's some really funky writing. I think it's Riley. You know, some actually really nice art in here. Oh, that's a light. You didn't say anything. Okay, guess not. Highlight it and then don't say anything. Okay, so when you do that monstrosity right there, let's try and get the, see, even the cursor doesn't want to sit on it. See that right there? That's the Shambler. I will avoid going into there for a couple more minutes. Just point, what's this? Yay, I can refill my lantern. Okay, so just a quick way to get out of this area once you trigger that thing is you'll want to go into this room over here where we just were, and you want to hide in here for a couple seconds. You will start to have Pierce panic, but after a couple seconds you can go into this room over here, and then right here where it's all lit up with more Riley characters, you'll grab that dagger.
Why was he so interested in old weapons?
Because old weapons are lovely. You'll grab that dagger, and then you are going to run to the painting and stab it. And you get an achievement if you grab this dagger first, and well, 2 achievements if you haven't gotten it already, but 1 for using just the 1 dagger, and 1 if you do it in 1 go. So that's fun fact. Alright. Oh, I don't like this part. I really don't. Even though I know how to get through it really quick. Okay, let's go.
The man transformed an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery.
Can't say I blame him. Oh, I don't want to do this, but I have to. Ick. Oh, it's not friendly. Oh, not friendly at all. Now that I've looked at it. Oh, don't back up. If this thing sees you, it will come after you. Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. Don't look at it. If you don't look at it, it doesn't see you. You're good. Oh, I hate this.
What the hell was that?
Okay, so you want to stay crouched for this, and you want to move as fast as you can into this room over here. Oh, I can hear it breathing. I hate this. You want to go in here for a couple of seconds. Okay, that should be long enough. Oh, I hate this. Shit. Grab the dagger.
Damn. Did it hear that?
Yes, it did. Let's go.
This dagger looks
Crap. it, I hate 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 it. Oh dear gods. Kill it, kill it, kill it. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. Oh, I hate it. So creepy. I was trying to...
What's the matter with you?
Yeek. Ugh, hate it.
You sure you won't be needing that hand? You're losing it, Detective. At this rate, you're right. The bottle will get you before I do.
You didn't see anything.
I saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through your forearm. Did I miss something more interesting?
Take a look at that painting. You'll see.
I was attacked by a creature. I pushed it back, I think.
I think so too.
Huh?
You knew. You knew about the beast.
That's
What are you
reaction.
talking about? Think yourself lucky that I saved your hand, even if it was to save my goods.
You mean me?
Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. I'm talking about the contents of this gallery. And by the way, where do you think you're going with that dagger?
It saved my life. It's an extraordinary dagger.
You should talk to Algernon Drake. He's an antique dealer here on Darkwater. He'll tell you all about it. From what I saw in the ledgers, it was him who sold it to Sanders.
I want it. I don't trust her. I'm going to talk to Drake.
The creature. This dagger was the only weapon capable of pushing it back. If Hawkins was trying to get rid of this Shambler, she might have made contact with Drake. This antique dealer has a good knowledge of the occult. I have nothing to lose by meeting him.
You've got your spunk back. Go where you want. I'm staying here to talk business with Irene.
Okay, bye. New cutscene. Oh, I think I'm getting that trophy and I still feel really bad about it. And we'll leave it there because that is chapter 6. And like I said, I hate the Shambler. But once you go in and you trigger it, you move faster than he does, as long as he doesn't come at you from the front. So yeah, go in, look at the dagger, open the case if it lets you, go to the painting, and then go around, grab the dagger, and then stab the painting. And I'm going to leave it there. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and having both ears covered with the audio from this game is really... I need to start using different words than creepy, but it's the one that comes to mind. Anyway, that's it for now, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys!